of the whole entire call because I love hearing everybody else's success. That's what's most important with this particular business opportunity, man. The success stories from trading, building a business, things of that sort. So shout out to everybody that's on the line right now. It's 306 people that are motivated, inspired to take action. Listen, if you're excited for your life, right? If you're excited for prosperity in your life, let me see something in the chat box. I don't care what you put in there, but if you're excited for just your life and prosperity in your life and things of that sort, matter of fact, drop your name in the chat box, right? If you're gonna bring some wealth, some abundance, some prosperity to your name, because man, that's what each and every single one of us have the ability to do in this business. I was just sitting back on yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. And I'm just thinking like, wow, there are so many people, young people, old people, people from this place, people from this place, people from this situation, people from the best situation, people from the worst situation. And there's so many people, guys, that quite honestly are winning in whatever endeavor they're actually going hard. And you have people that are winning in trading. Like Rico just said, somebody had a $3,500 day. I think he said the person was in high school. You have people that are going chairman 10, chairman 100, chairman 50, chairman 500. It's just like, man, the success that we're being exposed to is ridiculous. But you got to take control of it, take full hold of it, and begin to create change in your life. Because here's the deal. I said on the call on Saturday, first of all, if you was on the training Saturday, you got everything you need to build the business. Like if you was on the call that Justin Owens, the event that Justin Owens put on Saturday, man, you got everything you need to build the business. They talk about prospecting, launching, following up, like just everything, leadership, right? You had every aspect of the business being taught. And again, as I'm sitting here this past week, and I'm just blown away at everything that's happening. I just began to also reflect on my life. A lot of people, they see chairman and, they see all the stuff that, that's posted on social media, but a lot of people, they weren't there in 2017 or 2016 when I first got started. See, it'll be 4 years for me inside of this industry on July 7th. All right, so in 2 months, it'll be 4 official years that I've been in this profession of network marketing. And I'm just like some of you guys. I remember 4 years ago, being 23 years old, sleeping on the twin size bed at my mom's house, looking for a way to create this type of income, trying to find something that could change on my life. And one thing that I focused on, guys, was literally being a student, going to every training, not missing events, showing up, getting on the calls, getting on webinars, just all the stuff that you need to do to be successful. That's what I was focused on. And I didn't see the results how I wanted to see the results in the beginning. I remember going to get loans to pay my car note. I remember not having enough money to eat off the dollar menu at McDonald's. This is 23-year-old Riyad Jones, not the Riyad Jones that can speak on calls, not the Riyad Jones that can do presentations. This is me trying to figure out how to really build this business. This is me where some of you guys are today, but it was me 4 years ago. All right. So what you got to understand is that time is going to be on your side, but you also have to understand that you have a pace that's been set out for you. You have a pace that's been set out for you. See, one thing that helped me over the past 4 years of being an entrepreneur is focusing on what I can control, focusing on my personal activity, and never comparing my results to somebody else, because I had my own race and my race was set at my own pace. I had my own race and my race had my own pace. I wasn't focused on what everybody else was doing. I was inspired by what everybody else was doing. I never found myself getting jealous. I never found myself comparing. I always found myself just being focused on what I could control and what I could do. That was from the age of 24, 23, 24, 25, 26, and now here we are today at 27 years old, that we've been in this industry of entrepreneurship. So what I'm telling you guys, the things that I've been able to do, each and every single one of you on the call, I believe that you can do more. I believe that you can do more than me, like easily, not without a question. Especially the people that are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. You can fail for another 2, 3, 4 years and be where I started at the age of 23. right? But again, what's been able to help me, what helped me back then and what's still helping me today is keep my eyes focused on what I can control, what I'm doing, and the work, right? That I can put in. And also just understanding the pace that's been set out for me. And V Burrell called me right before the call and she said, keep setting the pace. I keep setting the pace. And I just created a quick acronym for PACE. And I related it to my journey that I've had over the last 4 years in entrepreneurship, network marketing. And PACE, the P, I think of passion. Over the past 4 years, guys, I've been extremely passionate about what I do. I've been passionate from the beginning, sleeping on the twin size bed, going to payday loan companies to get a payday loan to cover my car note, to pay my phone bill. I was still passionate. I was always excited about what I was doing. There was always a passion that I spoke with when I was presenting opportunities to people. They could hear that I was going somewhere, even though they knew I wasn't where I was going to be, they still knew that I was going to that place, even though I wasn't there in the beginning, because they created a passion that I was speaking with, the way in which I carried myself. And this is what you got to do when you're fairly new in the business. This is what you got to do when you're fairly new to the opportunity. You got to stay passionate. And when I looked up the word passion, I saw two definitions. The first definition said that passion was a strong, barely controllable emotion. Strong, barely controllable emotion. And then the second definition said the suffering of Jesus. Now, I'm not about to go in depth with this, but I just began to compare and contrast these two. The first definition said a strong, barely controllable emotion. And then the second definition said the suffering, right, of Jesus, but we're just going to say the suffering. So what I get from passion is that your passion for what you do has to be at such a level that you're willing to suffer for or suffer to get the result that you're passionate about or the thing that you're passionate in. So I was so passionate about becoming successful that I would suffer to become successful. Because you got to think, why in the world would the second definition of passion be the suffering of think about this. It was because he loved us so much that he was willing to suffer for what he loved. You got to get to a place where you love this business. You love the idea of financial freedom. You love the idea of what your life can look like. You love your vision so much that you will suffer for the vision, because it's not going to be pretty. Like I literally started this whole conversation saying that, man, listen, I remember in the beginning of the journey, yeah, most of you guys, maybe 99.8% of you guys weren't here for that, of me sleeping on the twin size bed, me not having money, like just struggling, trying to learn how to build this business. Clothes didn't fit right there in the very beginning, right? But crazy things were that I was going through, but it's the same things that most of the new people on the line are going through right now. And even some of the people that have been engaged in the business or in the business for a couple of years or a couple of months, whatever you may be going through right now, but you got to get so passionate about what you do that it's okay for you to suffer sometimes. It's okay to not get the result that you want. It's okay to not see the fruit of what it is that you want, but you're still sowing the seeds because you're passionate about it. You love it so much. You love the idea so much of financial freedom that you will do whatever it takes to get it because you know how it feels to be broke. You love the idea of the things that you envision because you know what it feels like to live life in lack. Or you know what it feels like to be away from your kids. You know what it feels like to be away from your husband or your wife. So you got to get so passionate about the things that you want and the vision that's in your mind that you're willing to suffer for it, because as soon as you go through the suffering, the result of what it is that you truly want is going to show up if it's for you. All right. So along this journey, you, number one, have to be passionate. What does passion mean? A strong, controllable, incontrollable emotion, an emotion that's hard to control. And the emotion obviously will be positive. But are you passionate enough? Are you passionate about what you do to the point where you're okay with going through the process? You're okay blowing the accounts. You're okay getting told no, because you understand that on the other side of this suffering is going to be the result that I really want. The second thing is, guys, you got to stay in activity mode. You got to, when you're setting the pace, You're trying to create, listen, you're gonna have to be in activity mode. You gotta be passionate about what you do and have activity. You gotta do the work. It's no way around the work. There's no way around it. I don't care what your faith level is like, what your belief level is like. You still have to put in work. You still have to show the plan. You still got to do webinars. You still got to do events. You still got to prospect. You still got to work on leadership. You still got to do all that stuff because you can't get around the work. You still got to train your team. You still got to serve. You still got to do all that stuff in the physical, right? Because the stuff that you do in the physical completes the things that you've envisioned in the spiritual. So you have to do the work. For 4 years, I've been doing the work. 4 years. 4 years. 4 years of getting told no, having events where people don't show up, struggling, payday loans, eviction notices, car got repossessed. Like, I could just go on and on. But even in spite of all that, Cool Jones was in activity mode. We were still working the business. We were still showing the plan. We were still trying to figure this whole trading stuff out. We were still using the products. We were still going to events. This has been 4 years, 2.5 years in IML, right? And a year and some change in another company. This is what you have to do. You have to put in the work. It's not even a question if you're going to get to the level of success that you want without it. Again, I spoke about this on a call before, and I think I spoke about it on the call Saturday. Like, if your organization saw what you did every single day, if there was a camera following you every single day, would you have duplication in your organization? Would there be success happening in your organization based on what you're doing every single day, based on the example that you're setting for your organization every single day, right? What if I don't have an organization? Well, are you doing the work that you want your future organization to see? Really think about that, because we want to have big organizations, but we're not ready to lead big organizations. I remember being 23 years old. I had a friend in my last company. His name was Alfred Nixon. Alfred, when I first got involved in that company, Alfred was already making maybe $25,000 a month. We were both 23 years old. I'm like, bro, this dude making $25K a month. This is back in 2016. He making $25K a month. He has an organization over 2,000 people, 3,000 people. Like, man, I deserve that. I need that. And if I would have been blessed leading 2,000, 3,000 people 3 or 4 years ago, there's no way that organization would have lasted. Sometimes we want things that we're not even ready for ourselves. And you got to understand that everything is going to have a process that you got to learn, grow through, and also go through. Very important, because sometimes we're not ready for the things that we want, but we get ourselves ready by staying passionate and being in activity mode. And thirdly, being consistent. Consistency. So for 4 years, there's been a high level of consistency. You look at anybody having success right now in the company, it's been a high level of consistency. It doesn't matter what chairman you look at, I'm pretty sure that you're going to see a level of consistency. There's going to be a high level of consistency. See, when you're trying to set the pace, you got to be consistent. You can't be inconsistent when you're trying to set a pace for other people to follow. There's no way that it's going to work. So I got to be passionate about what I do. If I'm passionate about what I do, that means I'm okay with suffering for the vision to come to pass via doing what I do. I'm going to be in activity mode. I'm doing the work every day because my work is proof that I really believe. I can't say that I believe and I'm not doing the work. Then I got to be consistent with the work that I'm putting in. My emotion of passion and excitement has to be consistent. It can't be I'm passionate this month, but next month I'm not passionate. I can't be passionate when the volume is on the uptrend, but I'm not passionate when the volume's in consolidation. I'm not passionate when the volume is in a pullback. I just can't be passionate when it's time to go to an event. I got to be passionate before the events even come. I can't just start taking action only when it's event time or only when it's momentum time. I got to be taking action consistently throughout my journey, because what happens is the consistency, the consistent effort that you put in over the course of time, it begins to compound itself, and the work will never forget the work that you put in. You may forget the work, but the work won't forget the work. You may forget the time you showed the plan to 3 people at a Starbucks a year ago, but the work didn't forget that. You may forget the time you showed the plan and you drove 8 hours to Louisiana and nobody showed up, but the work won't forget that. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because people, they see the success, they see the income, car, crib, but it's been 4 years. It's been 4 years of being passionate for something that you didn't know was going to happen. You didn't know you'll be making $60,000 a month when you started. There's no way I could know that. There's no way I could know. I couldn't fathom that. Like, I was sleeping on a twin size bed with no money. I couldn't fathom. $60,000 a month, 50,000. That wasn't even in my vocabulary. The only thing I could see was $8,333. That was $100K a year. That's all I could see. Now we do that every few months. But it started from me being passionate about something that I didn't know was going to happen. I suffered, and I was okay with the suffering. But even in spite of the suffering, we stayed in activity mode and we stayed consistent. We never allowed the reality of what we were going through, the reality of people not joining, or the reality of you just built the team and it falls back down. See, it wasn't just an IML where I built the team and it fell back down. That happened to me in my first company as well, but for some reason I stayed passionate. For some reason I stayed in action mode. I just kept staying consistent, even though I couldn't see. When I was sleeping on the twin size bed with no car, I couldn't see. I could only see when my eyes were closed. I couldn't see that my life will look like this in the midst of me going to drive-thrus. And I'm trying to get change to pay for the drive-thru at McDonald's and Burger King. This is 23 years old trying to build a network marketing business. The same business that people get inside of and they play with it. They don't take it serious. The same industry that's popping out millionaires and six-figure earners left and right. But you have people that play with it because they're really not aware how quickly their life can change. Do you understand that 4 years is not a long time to do anything? You sat in high school for 4 years. Some of us sat in college for 4 years. High school nor college has brought us back multiple six figures. It hasn't. So is it worth it to suffer if you have to suffer for 4 years to get to a place where you're earning crazy amounts of money every month? Is it worth it to get to a place after 4 years you've helped so many people do what you've been able to do? Change their life, make six figures, put people in position to win financially, help their families out, do things for their kids, their birthdays. Like, is it worth it to stay consistent and suffer if you have to for 4 years to see the looks on people's faces when you're able to do things for them? I'm telling you it's worth it. I'm telling you it's so worth it to stay passionate about something that you don't really know if it's going to happen. See, that's what faith is. See, you may have the idea, you may have the vision, you may write it down, but you're still never 100% sure if it's going to happen. And that's what faith is. You're never 100% sure on how every single plan is going to come together. You're never 100% sure on who's going to be the person to come into the business to blow it up. You're never 100% sure. All you have to know, though, is that it will. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just believe that it will. And even if it don't happen, something else is going to happen to still get me to the goal that I want. Faith begins where understanding is. See, I didn't understand 23 years old, 24 years old. But now at 27, I see why I had to travel to places and nobody showed up. I see why I had to go to events by myself. See, that's why I talk about going to events and, having people come with you, getting your team around leaders. Because I know how it feels when you don't do that stuff. And I've seen the results of what happens to your business when you go to an event by yourself, when you're the only one getting the information, when you're the only one that has a connection with that person that can really help. Like when you're the only one, it doesn't feel good. The results aren't the same. But when you start getting other people to believe in themselves, to do the things that you're doing, you start getting other people around those resources, everybody begins to win. So when I say a lot of stuff, it's coming from me having 4 years of experience of doing it every single way, trying every single way, whether it was in this company or another company that I started with. But over those 4 years, I was passionate. I was willing to suffer for what I was passionate for. I stayed in activity mode. I was consistent, and I always had positive energy. My energy was always there. My excitement was always there. My enthusiasm was always there. Even though sometimes I couldn't see it physically, I could see it when I closed my eyes. And that was enough for me to be excited about. That was enough for me to be excited about. The idea that it's even possible. You should get so excited that you have the possibility of making 100,000, that you even have the possibility of making $1 million. You should get so excited that you have the possibility every time you copy and paste a signal, that could be the signal that goes for 1,000 pips. That could be the signal that goes for 200 pips. And you got the right lot size on there and changes everything about your life. But if you're not energized every day, if you're not enthusiastic every day, if you're not excited about what you're doing every single day, if you're not showing positive emotions and positive energies in spite of what you're going through every day, what's the point? What's the point? See, even while I sat at Chairman 10 for 18 months, see, you saw how quickly people forget that? We sat at Chairman for 18 months. Listen, mindset masteries every week, you're still a chairman. People ranking up, you're still chairman. Matter of fact, you're not even chairman because you deranked to P5. Then you deranked to P2. That was for 18 months. I laugh internally when people say how long they've been stuck at a rank. Because you don't understand yet. There's so much more that you got to learn and grow and understand and get while you're stuck at the rank, while you're stationed there. You're not stuck, you're stationed there. There's a reason why you're there. Anytime, I've been playing Call of Duty lately. I've been playing Call of Duty, and it has me thinking from a military standpoint, right? And when I think about the military, when somebody gets stationed to a place, they're not stationed at that place forever. They're stationed at their place until they do the assignment that they were stationed there for. So sometimes when you get stationed at a rank, you think you're stuck there, but you're really just stationed there. And the station or the assignment may have a date on it that you can't see. And even though you can't see the date, you still have to be passionate. I don't know when they're going to bring me out of this station place that I'm in, but I still have to do the action while I'm here. I see we have Army vets on the line. They understand what I'm saying. If I was stationed to Hawaii right now, I don't know how long. Sometimes I may not know how long I'm gonna be there. They may say, hey, you're here for a year, but then 6 months in, they may say, hey, you're here for 2 years. But while I'm there, I gotta be passionate. I gotta be excited about what I'm doing. I have to bring a level of passion around my Army brothers, my Navy brothers, because I'm stationed here with them. See, you're not the only person that's stationed at a place. You're not the only person that's stuck in business. There are so many other people, even people on this line, that understand what you're going through. But when you're stationed somewhere, there still has to be positive emotions about where you're stationed at. I can't allow outside things to determine how I feel in my station place, because in my station place, I got to get something. And if I miss what I'm supposed to get at my station place, I'm going to stay here. If I don't complete my assignment, I'm going to stay here. If I don't learn how to present at this station place, I'm going to stay here. If I don't learn how to promote events and promote webinars and promote calls, I'm going to stay here. If I don't learn how to manage my money, I'm going to stay here. If I have an ego problem, I'm going to stay here. If I'm prideful, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here. And so I was stationed in a place for 18 months. I didn't know why I was there for so long at that time. But all I had to know is that my sergeant in command was going to send me orders to go to another place. I knew that. That's all I knew. So you got to understand that it's okay to feel like you're stuck. You're not stuck. You're just stationed. And in that station place, you got to learn what it is that you're supposed to learn. You got to stay passionate while you're there. You got to stay in action mode while you're stuck at that place, while you're stuck at that rank, while you're stuck with that trading account. You got to stay passionate, because guess what? That's what I did. 18 months. 18 months from February 2018 to August 2019. 18 months. Long 18 months. 18. So it's okay to be stuck. Look at what happened to me after being stationed. Just look at what happened to me. So it's okay. Passion, action, consistency, and I gotta have positive energy while I'm there. I got to. And then I gotta focus on developing myself. When you're setting the pace, you gotta develop yourself. You gotta develop yourself. You gotta develop yourself. But before you can develop yourself, let me backtrack. Before you can develop yourself, you gotta discover yourself. I went over this training on Saturday on the call, but I didn't finish the way that I wanted to finish. You gotta discover who you are. Discover your personality. Discover what type of person you are. Discover what type of leader that you are. Discover how you're going to build this business. Discover what's going to be your plan of action to become that trader. You got to discover some stuff. Because guess what? When you're stationed, when you think you're stuck, guess what you got to do? Discover. Discover, all it means is to discover. Uncover something that was there the whole time. That's what discover means. I'm uncovering something that had been there the whole entire time. So you got to discover some things. You got to discover who you are. And when you discover who you are, you discover the skills and the talents and the things that you have on inside of you. You begin to develop those things. You begin to develop those things. Each and every single one of us have gifts, talents. We have things that we're good at. We have things that we can do better than other people. They probably can do them like us, but they can't do them just like us. Because we're special, we're unique, we're different. God gave you a fingerprint that nobody else has so that you can leave an imprint that nobody else can. You're different, you're set apart. You got to discover who you are, develop who you are, every gift, every talent, everything that you have to help you build this business and do things outside of this business to impact the lives of people. You got to develop those gifts, develop those talents, develop those skill sets, and have enough confidence to deploy yourself out there to go help other people do the same exact thing. So I discover who I am, I develop who I am, and I have enough confidence in myself to deploy myself out there to go do the same exact thing. Now, when I find my person that I want to work with in this business, I'm going to help them discover. I'm going to discover new people, and then I'm going to help them develop who they are. So it's not enough for me to develop. It's not enough for me to be good. It's not enough for me to know how to show the plan. It's not enough for me to know how to trade. It's not enough for me to know how to host webinars. I gotta develop other people that can do that. Because if not, what you're gonna find yourself doing is you're gonna have a job. You're going to have a job. So I got to discover talent. I got to discover people that can do this thing without me. And then I develop them so that they can do it. I develop other traders. Again, you only get to keep what you give. So you want to make a lot of money trading, you help other people learn how to trade. That's what Brittany Burrell did. She was doing that before she even decided to build the business. She was still finding ways to give people value to help them learn how to trade. You only get to keep what you give. I discovered. I develop the talent that I'm finding, and then I deploy. But again, military thinking. Here's the thing with deployment. When you've been deployed, can you imagine being deployed, but you have no communication with the higher ups? Really think about this. I see I got Navy brothers and Army brothers on the line. Can you imagine being deployed out into battle, out into the field? You have no communication with the higher ups. Somebody said, bro, it will be terrible. I see I got Army sisters on the line too. Just think about that. Really think about that, because I want to make this thing make sense to you, because this is what people do in this business. Somebody discovers them. They find them from Instagram. They find them on Facebook. They sponsor the person in the business. They begin to help this person. They begin to develop this person. They begin to work with this person. And then the person is now deployed. What would happen if you just helped a new Platinum 600, a new Platinum 1000, a new Platinum 2000? You help them build this business. You help them and they go out into the field. They go out into battle, and they're not connected with the person who basically just deployed them. What do you think that would look like? Chaos. Somebody said there'll be a lot of casualties. Really think about this, because even when somebody is deployed into battle, they still have to be connected with the person that deployed them. They still have to be connected with the person that can help them. Because if I go into the field and I don't have any outside support from the sergeant, from the general, and I'm just out in the field by myself, what do? I got to figure it out now. And here's what happens. The time that it took me to figure it out, the time that it took me to figure it out could be the same time that something else was accomplished. But because I got deployed and I didn't stay connected to the general, the sergeant, I'm now working double. One thing that I've learned in this business, this is me. I never lose connection with the generals. I never lose connection with the covering. And I said it on the call. That's what your coach, your mentor, your leader, the person that you're working with, that's what they are to you. They're like a covering, if you will. And if you don't respect the covering, if you don't stay under the covering, you get rained on. You get rained on. So what's my point? When you're talking about building something that is going to stand, last the test of time. You have to have people that you're still connected to who see the field a lot different than you. You gotta be. Because there's no point for me to be passionate. There's no point for me to stay in action mode. There's no point for me to be consistent. And there's no point for me to have energy. Then get out there and get deployed. I'm in the field. I'm working my business. But I have no connection with the person that deployed me out into the field. That doesn't even make any sense. Because to build something successful and sustainable that's going to last the test of time, it's going to take you having a different perspective. It's going to take you not having ego. I saw Geo drop ego in the chat. It's going to take you not having ego. Because I was watching a Michael Jordan documentary last night. And man, that documentary is so dope. If you're not watching it, man, listen, try to find some time. I know y'all grinding. Y'all think y'all don't have time to take out an hour and all that stuff. Listen, it's you can find an hour to watch Michael Jordan, right? So I'm watching Michael Jordan last night, the documentary, and it was so funny to me. It was so funny to me that it doesn't matter how good, how great, doesn't matter how skillful, it doesn't matter how effective, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. If you have ego, if you're an a-hole, for lack of better terms, if you're just egotistical and prideful, do you know that other great people do not want to be around you no matter how great you are? Listen, it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how well you can show the plan. It doesn't matter how effective you are. If you don't have the personality that other people want to be around, it may be okay, listen to me, it may be okay for your organization to want to be around you. Listen to me. It may be okay for your team to want to be around you. But if you have, and we all have character flaws, but if you have just a high rate of character flaws and you're dealing in a people business, your team may want to be around you, but other leaders, other people that can see through you don't want to be around you. Now you're probably thinking, where did I get that from? I'm watching the Michael Jordan documentary last night. It was so crazy to me. Isaiah Thomas, for the people that understand basketball, we all understand that, man, he's one of the greatest players to play. He's one of the greatest point guards ever. Michael Jordan said he picks Isaiah Thomas behind Magic Johnson. That's how good Isaiah Thomas was, right? But again, Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Fame. But do you know, when they had the first Dream Team, Isaiah Thomas was not selected to play on the Dream Team. Why wasn't he selected? Because nobody else, all the other leaders, all the other players that played on the Dream Team, they said that, man, this dude will be a cancer. He may be good, but he's not good enough where we want him to be on this particular team. So what am I telling you right now? When you're building this business, guys, you have to have a high level of character, because your character that you have right now probably has gotten you to the level that you are right now, but the place where you want to go is not going to take that level of character. It's going to take a higher level of character. Because, yeah, Isaiah Thomas was 14-time, 15-time All-NBA, but he never played on the Dream Team with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Mike Jordan, all the other people, all the other greats. He could never play on that team with them because he did not have a pleasing personality. People didn't want to be around him. No matter how good he was at what he did, people still didn't want to be around him. It's crazy. So it doesn't matter how good you are. There has to be a high level of character. There has to be a pleasing personality. There has to be a level of work with ability. Like, people want to work with you. It's okay for them to work with you. Because if not, if you don't have that character, and it may not happen to you in this particular business, it may be something else that you do in life. But character, man, is so important. I'm watching the documentary last night. I'm like, wow, character literally kept him off one of the best basketball teams ever assembled, the Dream Team. And because of his character, he will never be able to tell his grandkids, his kids, that he played with that team. You really got to think about that. That's heavy. See, it doesn't matter how great you are. It doesn't matter how good you are. There still has to be a high level of credibility, right? So, and the last thing I picked up from this documentary, and we off the call, because I just saw this. I don't know why my clock say 10:35, and it's been saying that for me. I just saw it's 10:58. So we're about to wrap it up because I'm done. The last thing that I saw, do you realize that it wasn't until Jordan found the right coach and submitted to the right coach, that's when he began to win championships. It wasn't until Michael Jordan found Phil Jackson and submitted to Phil Jackson's style of coaching that he found, or that he began to win championships. He won 6. He had 2 back-to-back three-peats. But with his first coach, when he had the wrong voice for that particular season, he couldn't win a championship. But when he found the right voices, when he found the right staff, or when the right staff showed up, he submitted himself to that voice, the triangle offense. He began to put the ball in other people's hands. He began to give other people opportunities to win. It just wasn't about Michael Jordan anymore. He began to provide opportunities for other people to win. There was a few times where he had other people on the team hit the game-winning shot. When everybody knew the ball was coming to Michael Jordan, he still had enough humility to give the ball up. And because of that, Jordan now has 6 rings. Man, I'm telling you, this business is so fun. But it's only really fun when you do it the right way. And you truly love what you do. You stay passionate. You love people. You stay in action mode. You stay consistent. And you stay energized. You have positive energy about what it is that you're doing, man. So I'm telling you, when the fun goes away, it's over. What's the point? For the past 2.5 years, going on 3 years that we've been building IML, it's been fun to me. It's fun to me. It's fun for me to travel. It's fun for me to do webinars. I love doing these calls every single Monday. Just love it. Just get a kick out of it. I love it. I love the fact, I love this thing so much where I'm willing to suffer for it. I'm willing to suffer and watch hours and study for hours of books and audios and things that I can, number one, increase my depth of leadership. You have capacity and you have depth. This is why you gotta have the right voice. I learned this from my mentor, my spiritual father. Gotta have the right voices. He said you have capacity to lead, but you also have depth to lead. He said most people have a wide capacity to lead, but they're very shallow. Most people have a wide capacity to lead, but they're very shallow. You have to have depth to lead. You have depth by the tools, the audios, the books, the things that you're constantly diving into. Constantly, over and over and over on a repetitive basis. That's how you increase your depth to lead. And you can now always have content to pull from because of the depth on the inside of you. Just how before the call, like B. Burrell called me, said, bro, keep setting the pace. And it just hit me, do a call on pace, because I didn't really know what the call was going to be about. I've been enjoying my birthday, doing calls. And oh, by the way, I've also recreated the Chairman Blueprint. So I'm going to send a link out to that. Chairman Blueprint is recreated. I spent my day doing that today and also the other day. All right. So, but because I have the depth through study, it doesn't matter what topic comes. I've suffered so much in front of the computer, in front of books and audios, that it doesn't, I can just pull from within. And it's fun to me. I love challenging myself to do things like that. I love it. Get a kick out of it every single time. So stay passionate, stay in action mode, stay consistent, uh, positive energy every single day. Let's attack the week. Great week ahead. I know it's a lot of opportunities calls happening for you to build and have multiplication happen in your organization. But let's focus up, man. I thank you all for all the happy birthday wishes. I love you all. Let's have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys at the bank. Good night. God bless.